Hey boys and girls, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. Starting with a very quick movie review. Can't say too much about it. Also, I'm not really sure it's necessary to review this movie because everyone's going to go see it anyway, but I saw Avengers Endgame. Oh my god, it's as amazing as everybody says it is. Which is funny because, okay, and I can't really say anything, I can't really review it properly because I literally want to say as nothing about it, because you have to go in, they're right, you want to go in cold and you just want to experience it, so that everything is a surprise and nothing is in the trailers and it's great. But everyone was raving about it, and in the beginning I was like, yes, this is great, and then it took a turn and I went, wait, why was everyone raving about this movie? Because it gets a little like dramatic and character focused, and I was like, okay, I mean, it's good and it lets everyone act and it's great, but I'm like, at some point we're putting on costumes and having superheroes, right? Because it's a superhero movie. But then once it starts superheroing and the story like really kicks into high gear, it becomes absolutely amazing and just incredible. Like, and the ending is just, it's kind of perfect. Some people might disagree, they might have personal feelings, but I personally thought the ending was absolutely perfect. It's so good. I cried multiple times. Like, I got a little choked up during an earlier scene, and then, like, towards the end, there was one point where I was like, oh my god, are they really going to do that? And then they did that, and I started crying, and then I'm, like, wiping the tears away because I couldn't see what was happening, because I couldn't see through the tears. And that happened a couple of times there, where I just was like, whoa, this is amazing! And it was, like, excitement tears, I guess? Happy tears? And then at the very, very, very end, like the literal last scene of the film, full-on ugly cry. So glad that they did not put the house lights up as soon as the credits started, because I needed time to compose myself. And thankfully my husband brought tissues, extra tissues. He had a couple in his pocket, and I was like, thank you. Because full-on ugly cry. I had to physically restrain myself from making audible sobbing noises. It was that bad. Oh my god. I can't believe that I cried like that at a superhero movie. But there you go. It is an absolutely perfect capper to the past decade of Marvel movies. It is amazing. If they never made another Marvel movie, that would be fine. I mean, it wouldn't be, because I would like to have more superhero movies, and the Marvel movies are very awesome. Even the bad Marvel movies are still really good, and really entertaining. So I want to see more. Preferably, maybe like a Young Avengers movie would be great. But if they never made another one, this would be an absolutely perfect capper, and totally satisfying, and absolutely incredible. And you're all going to go see it anyway, so I don't know why I have to tell you to go see it, but go see it. I personally am planning on seeing it again. I wasn't sure how how I felt about like seeing a 3-hour movie again the following week, but it was fine. I didn't have to, I mean, I felt like I had to pee like a couple hours into it, but then the last hour was like, and you forget about your bladder entirely, so it's fine. But I'm definitely going to go back and see it again next week, because I want to see it in IMAX 3D, and I don't know how long it's going to be in the IMAX theaters. I'm sure I can see it in 3D for at least a couple more weeks, but I want it in IMAX 3D. Like, I want it in 3D, on the giant screen, with the big sound. I want to experience that for real, because my husband hates 2D, as I've said in previous episodes, so we had to go see it opening weekend in 2D. But I can't wait to see it again. Oh, also, as an aside, before I switch, excuse me, before I switch to gaming, No spoilers, but I know he's a CGI character, but the CGI Hulk in Avengers Endgame is weirdly hot. I found myself incredibly attracted to him. When you see, maybe you'll agree. I don't know. Maybe I'm insane. Okay, on to gaming. I did put together a couple more of the Nintendo Labo VR kits. The first one that I did, obviously, I mean, it's actually the next one on the list, but I put together the camera, where you put a Joy-Con in here, and you put a Joy-Con in here, and then you rotate to zoom in and out, and that's, you know, it rotates the motion of the Joy-Con, like, knows that you're zooming in and out, and then you put the Joy-Con in here so that you have the trigger here to take pictures. And because I wanted this one because I'm like, oh, I want to take, you know, VR 3D pictures. And I will say that that was the first time where I felt like, okay, now here's a legitimate game, and it wasn't those little micro games, the little activities that I complained about last week. This was more of a full experience in VR where you're under the water and there's fish and things swimming around and you're looking all over and you're zooming in and out and taking pictures and, you know, and there's a whole list of things, a checklist of photos that you're meant to take. And it was funny because I was like, where am I supposed to get, you know, a boat or a seagull? I'm under the water. And it wasn't until I saw a shark and I went, oh wait, I want to take a picture of the shark, and it swam like under me, and I went, wait, the shark is on the list. I saw a shark on the list of photos to get, and when I tilted down, that suddenly I started to sink, and I went, oh, I can move vertically by aiming up or down with the camera. It moves me vertically through I mean, you can't move side to side, you can just rotate around in 360 degrees, but you can move up and down, so you can go to the surface and take pictures of a boat and the seagulls and the sky and whatever. And you can go all the way down to the floor where there's caves and other things that you're meant to take pictures of. And I'm like, ow, because it didn't explain that. There's no instructions. I just accidentally figured that out. The other one that you play with the camera, there's like a room with like this freaky weird creature in it that like does stuff, and you're just supposed to sit there and observe it and then take pictures of it as it does things, and you're supposed to take pictures of it in doing different things and whatever. That one I haven't spent as much time with. I've been mostly taking the underwater pictures because they're really cool. But I don't know if there's any extra stuff to do if you can go up and down or around the house, if there's different rooms or something, because I haven't explored that or tried to see if there's instructions. I know on the Switch you can pause the game and check the instruction booklet, the digital instructions. I don't know if there's any instructions I actually should probably check, because clearly I'm missing aspects of these VR experiences because they're not giving me the information I need to say, hey, look up and down to move within this 3D space. That'd be nice to know, thank you, but yes. Then the next one on the list of construction was the elephant, but I didn't want to do the elephant, I wanted to do the bird, because I wanted to do the flying around. The elephant is like I mean, there's other games that you play with it, but the main one with the elephant, I feel, is the like drawing in 3D space, and I'm going to be terrible at that, so I'm not really excited about it, so I'm not as psyched to put that one together. So I moved on to the bird, which actually takes longer to put together than the elephant, which I thought was strange. But, because they give you like a little range. It's like, oh, this will take 30 to 45 minutes to put together. Or this one will take 60 to 90 minutes to put together. And I have found the ones that I've put together I've been at the lower end of that range. So the bird said 60 to 90 minutes, and I'm like, oh my god, why does it take so long? It doesn't look that complicated. It was more complicated than it appears. And it did, in fact, take me an hour to put this together. This looks really, like, whatever, you know? But, like, all of this stuff, like, you know, this all and the inside took a lot. I mean, you can't really see, but the inside took a lot. And to like add the rubber band so that you can go like this, because that's what you do. You look through it, and then you push the trigger, and then you can fly like this, and you flap your wings to fly faster. And the bird, there's two bird games. One is a racing game that I haven't tried yet because I'm not good at racing and I don't really care for it, but the other one is like an exploration. You're on like an island and you can fly around, you can fly up top, you can fly to these mountain tops, you can fly through tunnels and caves, and there's all these other birds, and you have to like collect things to give to the little birds, and then they'll join you, and then there's like a whole swarm of birds flying around you, and it's kind of cool. So like that one was really good. I liked that one. And of course, each of these, builds gives you a few more of those like micro games, the little activities, which are hit or miss. The one with the camera I found had a little bit, those micro games were a little bit better because you had more control options, you had the zooming and the trigger. So it added a little bit more complexity to the activity. It wasn't just, poke, poke, move, poke, there was a little more to do with it. But I still have a couple more builds to do. The elephant, which will be easier than the bird apparently, somehow, we'll see. And then there's the gun, which is supposed to take like a couple of hours, which I think that's the one, because they're always like, oh, now that you finished this part, you could take a break. And I'm like, no, let's just do it. It's, whatever, it's fine. But if it's going to take me like 2 hours, I'm like, that one I might do in 2 sessions. I don't know if I want to sit still for 2 hours and putting together this cardboard thing. But I've still got a couple more things to build, so that's fun. And I do actually really enjoy the building of the Labo kit. It actually takes longer to build than it does to play with it, it seems, sometimes. But like one of my commenters said, the whole point of the Labo, the fun is in the building, not more so than the playing sometimes. So, and I agree. I have found that the building is like a lot of fun. It's like building a Lego kit or something. Also, they released the updates for Zelda and Mario. So I, of course, had to check those out to see. And I tried Zelda first, even though when I turned on my Switch, it said it updated Mario. I guess it's been a while since I played Zelda, so I had to put the cartridge in, and then it was like, oh, hey, there's an update, and I updated it. So, thankfully, the Switch is a lot quicker with the updates than the Xbox or the PlayStation. I will give it that credit. So it quickly downloaded an update, and I quickly turned it on, and thankfully I happened to be, my save happened to be in a town, so I was like, oh good. Then I don't have to worry about trying to fight. It was just something simple. In retrospect, I probably should have tried to go out into the world and fight an enemy, but I just wanted to look around. Because I don't know how playable it is in 3D. Graphically, it's amazing to see it like in 3D. It's very cool, but the actual quality of the graphics is not great because it's, splitting the resolution, it's splitting it into 2 images and then merging those, so it's almost like the resolution ends up being like half as much or something. I don't know the math about it. I don't really know. All I know is that when playing Zelda in 3D VR, the graphics are really jagged. Like everything, it's very pixely, very jagged. It's not great. The 3D does offset that jaggedness by going, ooh, look, it's so real, It like becomes more real even though it's more jagged and not as smooth and realistic. But like moving around, I was like, okay, and I had a conversation with somebody, and the text windows, hovered in the foreground, and it was very well designed. Everything was fine. The weird thing is that looking around, it's not a first-person game. Oh, but I didn't try switching to first person. I should have. I'll try that next time. I got to try that. I it's a third person game, so looking around, you're not looking around the world. By looking around with the viewer, you're actually just controlling the camera and swooping around Link, and looking up zooms you in, and looking down pulls you out, and, you know, gives you an overhead view. So it's not like true VR where you're looking around a world in first person. But it's a nice compromise, and it's fine if you can get used to the jagged graphics. The problem is holding the Switch in front of your face like this the whole time, you know? Like, I actually leaned back on the couch so I could rest my arms on my chest so that it would be slightly less uncomfortable to, you know, on my shoulders and arms, like holding it up like that. Not that it's heavy, but it's just, it's an awkward, and it just, after a little while, your arms get kind of tired and you're like, ugh. Because the VR games in the VR Labo kit, they're constantly saying, oh, maybe you should take a break. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. But then eventually it's like, hey, maybe you should take a break. I'm like, you know what, my arms are tired. It's not that my eyes are tired and I'm trying to, like, you know, not overdo the VR. I'm just like, you know what, I do need a break. My arms are really getting sore because I'm holding this stupid thing up. They're never going to add a head strap. They don't want that risk of the Switch falling into your lap or on the floor and breaking, and then people get mad. So I don't know how playable Zelda is in VR. It's a cute novelty, but your arms are going to get tired real quick, so I don't really know that you're going to want to play it like that. Mario, on the other hand, is totally different. You don't play the actual game in VR. It is a series of well, they're not new levels. I mean, I only did one, but it's an existing level where it, like, gives you a section and says, here, run around this area, and you're supposed to collect musicians. And in each area, there's a few musicians that you're supposed to collect. And what you do is there's a clef note that you hit, and then it opens up a bunch of musical notes, and then you collect all those musical notes, which then reveals an instrument, which you then give to the musician. So, like, the singer needs a microphone. You get that microphone, you give it to the singer, you recruit the singer. And the thing about the Mario is that you are a stationary camera. You are in the center of that area, and you literally, I had to stand up so that I could, like, turn around 360 degrees. Like, sitting on a, you need to, for Mario, you need to either stand up or sit in, like, a rotating chair. Because a regular chair, you're not going to be able to turn all the way around and go behind you. Because you need to be able to explore the whole area and run and jump and do things. But you can't move the camera in and out. You know, you literally are, you are the camera just going like this. And there it's more VR because you're looking around this area and controlling a little person that runs around, little Mario running around and collecting things. So it's a very different experience, but that one is, I think, almost more playable than the Zelda experience because, like I said, Zelda in VR look kind of neat to run around and it's in 3D, but your arms are going to get tired. Whereas the Mario experience, it's an extra little bonus level that you're going to do, you know, and collect the musicians, and then I guess you get a show. Also, it had the opening and I think the closing cinematic. I didn't watch the closing one. I only watched the opening one so far. And that, you can't look around. It just gives you a big screen, but it's in 3D. So that's kind of fun. As a person who loves 3D, that was kind of fun to see. I don't know if... I like the idea that Nintendo is like, hey, we've created this Labo VR, so here is our two big games, Mario and Zelda. We're going to give you some VR experience with that. I don't think that it's likely Nintendo will create any kind of actual VR game, because like I said, it's really uncomfortable to play with your hands up like that. I will say that it's a nice sign that they might continue to add VR modes to existing or upcoming games. For instance, if, by some stretch of the imagination, they wanted to add a VR mode or option to Animal Crossing Switch, I would probably die. Like, especially if it was like a first-person VR mode where I'm like literally in first-person walking around my Animal Crossing town, that would be absolutely incredible. So, I'm just putting that out into the world. It's never going to happen, but maybe it would. It would make me really happy. Just putting it out there. But, you know, I love that they're even dipping their toes into the whole VR world. And of course, like with Nintendo, it's literally just dipping, as opposed to PlayStation that's just diving right in, giving you the full-on thing. Nintendo always is like, oh, VR? Try a little of that. Or online multiplayer. Okay, try a little of that. It's always very, just a little bit, just to try it and see if it works, you know. The other game that I've been playing, of course, all this past week has been Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Can't stop playing it. I literally will come home from work and I will put it on and I will play it for as long as I can before I have to make dinner. And I'm still not bored running around exploring the gorgeous scenery with the killing of various people. Killing those cultists is extremely satisfying, I gotta say. And not just because killing the cultists gives you the little reward triangle icon things, I forget what they're called in the game, but you collect enough of those you can upgrade your spear. It's a very sci-fi thing that sort of pulls you out of the whole reality of ancient Greece, but, you know, it's fine. And as I mentioned last time, I had reset the leveling slider to the default, and I've actually still had no problems. I've been able to defeat enemies that are like my level and below. There was one point I screwed up a mission a little, and like people started attacking me, and I was defending myself, and some of them were like civilians. So, and I'm just like, you know, if you're a civilian, just run away. Like, don't climb up on this building to like attack me and try to kill me, because I'm gonna have to kill you because you're trying to kill me, and that's not cool. And I guess I could have like tried to knock them out, but I forget about that, and I just slash at them with my sword. So whatever. But that gave me a bounty, and I was like, ugh. So the bounty hunter that came after me was my level, so I decided to fight him. But just before I defeated him, another mercenary joined the fray, and he was 2 levels above me, and I was like, I don't think I want to fight you. So I kind of like ran away and hid, and managed to get them to wander separately, and I jumped on and finished off the one that was my level, and then ran away from the other one. And then I just paid off my bounty because I was like, I can't deal with this right now. I need to be able to move freely. So it wasn't that expensive, so it's fine. I've got plenty of drachmae, so it's fine. But I'm still having a good experience. Like, I'm not finding it too difficult to defeat the enemies that are at my level and doing the missions that are my level or slightly below. Like, I'm like up to like level like 27 now, I think, so I'm doing level 24 and 25 missions, and it's like perfectly fine. Like, I feel like I've reached a point where my level is slightly above where I need to be for the story. So it's actually not so bad. Hopefully it will stay like that, and I won't end up being like a lower level than what I'm trying to do, or at the level I'm trying to do, which should be okay. Hell, I've managed to challenge myself and go kill some of the legendary, like, mythical creatures, you know? Like, last time I killed the giant boar, and this time I killed the Nemean lion. I was like, woo! And it was challenging, but not as bad as the boar, strangely enough. The boar I thought was more difficult, because he kept calling in reinforcements. The lion only called in a couple of reinforcements, and they were easy to kill. But yeah, still loving it, still enjoying it, and I'm just trading off my time between killing people in ancient Greece and taking pictures of virtual cartoon fish. So come back next time, and I will have probably built the elephant, and I'll let you know how I'm going along with the assassinating. And I'll probably have seen Avengers again, so I'll let you know if the 3D is any good. See you then. Bye!